Hi all, Josh here from JR Productions. Today we're in the workshop and we're going to re-grip some of my sand wedges. Over the years I've had these wedges re-gripped previously with a Tour Pride cord grip, Titleist branded, to fit my Titleist wedge, but they're getting a bit worn out and actually hurting the hands a little bit too much. So today we're going to put on a brand new Tour Velvet rubber style grip, Golf Pride, so should make a massive difference, plus also fit into the rest of my set. So let's get underway and I'll show you how to do it. Things you'll need to re-grip the golf club: obviously first of all, golf club itself. Now you'll need a Stanley knife or cutting blade to actually cut the grip, the old grip off. You'll need a brand new grip to put back on. You'll need some double-sided tape, some mineral turpentine, and if you can, a little rubber vice grip, which you can pick up cheap online for a couple of bucks. It just saves wrecking your shaft and scratching your shafts up. And a vice. Firstly, let's get the club into the actual vice so we can actually start work on it. Simply just take your vice grip, stick it onto the shaft of the club, stick it into your vice, try and get the club as straight as possible, looking at the blade. This will just make life easier when aligning the grip. Then tighten it up so that it doesn't move, because we're going to be putting a fair bit of pressure onto the actual club itself to get the grip on and off. Next, you need to take your Stanley knife or cutting blade and cut along the grip, so then we can hopefully peel it off. Take your time when doing this, because if you slip, you could end up losing a finger, which is not what you want to do. Fine, you might have to run across this a couple of times to get through the first surface of the rubber. You can actually, I have seen people blow their grips off with compressed air, but in this case the grip is old and wrecked and not really worth keeping, so you would be better off, here we go, not to bother. So once I've cut, you can see now it's just a matter of peeling off, any luck, the old grip. Just cut this end piece. Doesn't matter if you scratch the taping underneath, because we're going to remove that as well. Okay, with a bit of force you can remove the grip. As you can see, it's pretty worn out. Next is we want to get off the old grip tape. So the easiest way that I've found is to use your Stanley knife blade, get it and kind of carve the tape off. It'll take you some time, but you need to remove all of this to ensure that we can have a nice clean surface to start with the new tape, and to make sure that the new grip will actually fit. You can use extra tape or tape over the top to thicken up the grips, but the grip's got to fit on, so you've got to check your sizes. I'm just using standard .60 grips, so I need to remove this tape before I can start. Getting there now. What you can use at the final end to get some of this excess glue off is some little bit of light sandpaper, just to help get it off. As you can imagine, it's a very sticky surface as it is, so as long as it's smooth, the smoother you can get it the better. because we will go over it, but that's pretty good. You don't want big chunk because you definitely will feel them, but we are now pretty much ready to start the next phase. Before you start to actually wrap your club in tape, what you should do is get your grip, put it to the end, and just see how far down you can actually put your tape, because you don't want tape hanging out the bottom of your grip. Good thing to do is use the bottom line on the grip as where your starting point, which is just less than about a centimetre, and tape up from there. Next, get your double-sided tape, and if you can use thick tape, you can nearly do it in one go, or even, as I'm going to do, in 2 goes. Lay it down on your first initial one, come to the end, cut off, leave a fraction because you can always tuck it back into the shaft, and unpeel this one and wrap it around. Now if your tape doesn't cover the entire shaft, do another one on the other side, which mine is exactly halfway. If you're using thinner tape, what you can actually do is just wind it around until you get to the end. But if you can actually get thicker tape, then it makes life a hell of a lot easier. With the excess tape on the end, you can just simply tuck it into the shaft itself. There we go. Now we're ready to put the grip on just about. Next, what you want to do is get your mineral turpentine and pour some in the grip and swish it around, and then you can actually pour it onto the tape and slide your grip on. Before pouring your terps into the grip, make sure you put your finger over the hole in the bottom so that it doesn't fly out everywhere. Doesn't matter if you spill a bit, but you probably want to fill it up about 3/4 of the way. Put your finger over the other end, give it a good swish around, and pour the rest over your grip tape, which will help bind it and get your grip. And with any luck, you can slide it on. A bit of excess tape in there that's popped out, that's alright, it'll come off. Now you've got a couple of seconds now to align where you want your logos and so forth. I like to have them at the back so I don't see them when playing. That's pretty good. Always handy to have a cloth nearby to wipe off the excess. And that is your golf club regripped. Now you can actually now put this one aside. I like to leave them at least 24 hours before use, just to ensure that they get a good bind and it won't slip around at all. But other than that, that won't be coming off until you cut it off for a new grip next time. Thanks very much. I'll be putting up some more videos shortly, one on how to sharpen your grooves and your wedges, so stay tuned for that one. Thanks.